Every morning is an opportunity to connect with Jesus. Whether you're looking to get started or looking to grow more, DDPC is for you. Join us as we connect with Jesus together.
Hey, good morning. Welcome this morning to Daily Devotions with Pastor Chris. God bless you. If you are joining on, it is our joy to have you with us today. And I am your host, Pastor Chris. Today is day 629, or the episode number 629 of our daily devotions, and we are into our week of fasting and prayer. So hopefully you have been participating with that as well. I want to say hello to those of you who are on Instagram: Melissa, Elizabeth, Samantha, Kate, Sarah, Paula, Esther, Kathy, Diane, Ben. Good to see you guys. Welcome, each one of you. Thank you for being on today. God bless you. Thank you, Paula. God bless you too. Appreciate it. Over here in the book face, as my father-in-law calls it, we see Eileen, Thoma, John, Cookson. Good to see you, buddy. Renee Galuzzi, Nancy Negron. Good to see you. Kim Sikelski, Rich. Nice to have you on. Matt Gill, Joe Duhamel, Julie Chandler, Denise, Yvonne LeBlanc. God bless you, Tony Fetchy. God bless you guys, each one. Thank you guys for being on today and for participating and helping get the message out of God's great love. I actually was on time today because I left the gym 8 minutes earlier, and I got around all the school buses, so I've outsmarted them. You know, CB Fur, good to see you. God bless you. Betty Diaz, nice to have you on today. Hello, Aunt Cindy. God bless you. Good to see you, Mike B. Welcome, Timothy Jones. Melissa Morse, good to see you. Scott Dobler, Heather Onofrio, God bless all of you. Deb Click, now on YouTube, and got the YouTube channel rocking, so nice to have you on as well. And I usually try just to hang on just long enough to see my dad pop on, and once he does, then I usually take off here. Rich Papsco, thanks for being on, buddy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Amen. Well, we're going to, Joe's saying hello to Anthony. I don't see Anthony on here, but Anthony, buddy, if you're here, bud, welcome, man. Good to see you. Laura and Dave, God bless you. Oh, there he is. Good morning, buddy. God bless you, man. Thanks for joining on, buddy. So let's get into this. Sandy Ams, welcome. Good to see you today. Let's just see what, whoop, that's the wrong thing. Hang on, excuse me, Instagram, sorry. All right. Here we go. Today, I just want to talk to you a little bit more about fasting. We've been on this journey of fasting and prayer, and we've been kind of hitting it from different directions. And today, I just want to talk to you about the basics of Bible fasting. I've mentioned many scriptures. We see that the Bible is full. I mean, absolutely filled with references to fasting, and there's all different kinds of reasons to fast. I mean, we talked about on Sunday that you can fast for crisis. We were talking about Ezra and how Ezra had come to, was commissioned by King Artaxerxes to go back to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple, to teach the people the law of God, the Torah, and in that, you know, he knew that he was going to be taking $200 million worth of precious metals through the Valley of Robbers. And so he called a fast, and he asked for, it was a crisis. He was like, we're going to get ambushed, maybe killed, certainly robbed if we go through here without the protection of God. And so they prayed out of a place of crisis. But there's other reasons to have a fast or to call a fast. There's many. I'm going to list a few. We're not going to look up all these scriptures, but I will mention them for reference if you guys want to post them in the chat. In Philippians chapter 3 and verse 19, there was a fast that was called for the denying of your flesh. For the denying of your flesh. And sometimes we're just dealing with temptations, and we just need the strength to get past that. And so sometimes if you will go into a time of fasting and prayer, it will help you to deny your flesh. Others time is when you, like in Luke chapter 2 and verse 36 and 37, it tells us, Jesus teaches that when you fast, it helps you to worship God. Your fast will actually position your heart or posture your heart more in tune with the presence of God. And so that's an important reason to fast. Isaiah 58 verse 6 talks about spiritual freedom. Man, if you're under a spiritual heavy load, go into a time of fasting and prayer. You will find that it will free your spirit. In the prophet Joel, it says in Joel chapter 2 and verse 12, that fasting will draw you near to God. In other words, it will position your heart so that you are not begging God to work out your plans, but that you come in line with Him because you're walking closely with the Lord. In Judges chapter 20, there's a fast that is called for wisdom. The people needed wisdom, and so instead of going to other counselors, which is biblical to do, but they decided to go to the great counselor, and they called a fast. In Acts chapter 14 and verse 23, they needed guidance, and sometimes we just don't know. Like, do I go left? Do I go right? Do I stay put? Do I go at all? And sometimes we need that, and we see that in Acts chapter 14, verse 23, that they fasted for guidance. Also in Isaiah 58, the previous verse 5, he talks about fasting for humility. Humility, we look at humiliation. There's a difference in humiliation and humility. I can't really get into parsing that word too deeply on this episode, but I will tell you that God is looking for a humble heart. I just listened to a fantastic sermon this morning from Pastor Jensen Franklin, and it was talking about staying humble. And even after the sensation is over, even after the miracle, the supernatural, the extraordinary thing that God does in your life, that doesn't place you on some high pedestal. We need to get to a place where when God's done using us for a specific thing, that we put ourselves back to where we were in the beginning, like in that staying in that humble place, recognizing that we are a servant of the Lord. And so anyway, that sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and we think more of ourselves than we ought to, think that we're better than, or that we're some super Christian, and sometimes a fast will help humble us. Waiting upon Jesus. Nobody likes to be in the waiting place, right? But in Matthew chapter 9, verses 14 and 15, it talks about fasting while you're waiting on the Lord, while you're waiting on Him to go into a fast. Many times the Bible is clear that fasting enhances your faith walk. And so those are just some examples. And we see strong biblical character for those who participated in the act of fasting. It's also made known that the followers of Jesus, that if Jesus taught that if you fast and you fast properly, He taught that there would be a reward. Now, we don't fast so we get rewarded, but when we fast properly, it yields a reward. I will tell you, as a father, as an employer, as a leader, when I have somebody who's under my charge, okay, whether it's in my responsibility as a dad or my responsibility as a ministry leader or a community leader or my responsibility as a boss, when I have somebody who is just just humble but driven and a self-starter, and just does things without asking and just goes above and beyond, it makes me want to reward them. Like I want to, in this day and age, it'll probably be gas cards, or something. But you want to do something to reward their hard above and over above and beyond work. And but if somebody has an entitlement, and they're like, well, look at all I did, and I did this and I did that, and you should have, then to me, it's like the recognition of their accomplishment is the reward, right? And it's like, I don't want to do anything to prop you up anymore. You're doing enough propping up of your own, right? Because there's no humility there. There's entitlement. And I think the same is true in our walk with the Lord. Jesus taught us that when we fast, ultimately it's a condition of your heart. What is your purpose? Are you fasting so that you get what you want? Or are you fasting so that you can tout it around and tell everybody in your Christian circles what you're doing for the kingdom, or are you truly fasting because you deeply desire to hear from the Lord and to go deeper with the Lord? Because I will tell you, I was talking to a brother yesterday, and they're just going through a lot since they've entered into this fast, and the truth is man, the attacks come. Look, when did Satan come to Jesus during his fast? At the very end, at his weakest and lowest point. That's when the devil showed up. And what did he offer him? Relief. He offered him all the promises that Jesus was going to achieve anyway, but the devil offered a fast track. He offered a plan B that circumvented Calvary. He wouldn't have to go to the cross. If he would just bow down to Satan, he would give him all the kingdoms of the world. He would feed him right there. He would take care of him. There would be, all of your pain can go away, and you can have everything right now. And that's what the devil does, is whenever we go into a fast, it tries to entice us with the very things that we were probably fasting for, and fast track it and give you a plan B that is not the Lord's plan. And so our job is to be so focused on the Lord that we can keep the noise of the enemy out, and that recognizing that the Lord is the rewarder of those who diligently seek him, right? So when Jesus taught about fasting, he said in Matthew chapter 6, verse 16 through 18, he said, when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, and that their fasting may be seen by others, right? And he says, truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head, wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And that's Matthew 6, 16 through 18. So Jesus is very clear here. First of all, he says, when you fast, which really bodes the sentiment that Jesus he's not suggesting you fast. Jesus is expecting a fast. He's expecting this kind of activity from from his disciples. So he has an expectation. So he's not saying if you desire a fast, or if you choose to fast, or if you so choose, or if you're going to. He says when you fast. And so Jesus was saying you're going to fast. Now, not only this, but we must look at why Jesus says that we must fast. He says when you fast, it's to be hidden. It's to be, and we talked about this on day one. It's to be hidden now because we're doing a corporate fast. But the fast itself, I don't stand up, and some churches do, and it's okay. I'm not judging any other pastor or their leadership. Some churches do a church-wide Daniel fast or a church-wide 3-day fast, and they do the same thing together. And maybe that just kind of clears the deck, in one way. But I will tell you, you can't help but judge. That's human nature, right? And so you're with somebody who's from the church, and we're in a fast, and you see them ordering a milkshake, and you're like, guess they're not fasting. But how do you know? Maybe they're not, fasting desserts or sugar or milkshakes. Maybe they're fasting social media or something like that. So he says, when you fast, keep it hidden. Because if you notice, when Jesus did his fast, he went away. He went into the wilderness. He didn't have a cell phone. He didn't have any connection. He didn't send smoke signals. Like, he was by himself for 40 days. He didn't go around the city showing everybody he was fasting. This would have been like the Pharisees. The Pharisees did that kind of stuff because they were wanting to gain the respect and the oohs and the ahs of people. They did this because they were puffing up their own pride. But Jesus wants us to know that God looks at our hearts and the motives during the fast. So we are to fast for one ultimate purpose, one reason, and that is for God's glory alone. When you fast, it is to glorify God because you are in a relentless pursuit after him. Fasting is not about your glory. It's to be hidden. Jesus says that we must fast because when we do, man, you'll get a reward. If you fast in the right way, then there's a reward that comes. Now, whether that reward is given to us on earth or whether that reward is given to us at the marriage supper of the Lamb or at the Bema seat when he's handing out the jewels in our crowns, I don't know, but we will be more blessed to receive a reward from the Father than from man. Because let me tell you something. Here's a little secret. A lot of people, who brag, if you will, about their holiness, or when they talk openly about how much they do for the kingdom, or when they are, or when they're vocal about their fasting. Can I be honest with you? 99% of the people in their sphere that they're telling don't care. They don't care. I mean, they're kind of like, oh, that's great. I mean, good for you. Great. Hey, nobody's going, whoa, you're fasting? Wow, you're so holy. Most people are like, why? Why are you doing that? But Jesus says when you fast, you do it hidden, and you go into the Lord, and you go to the Lord, and you ask for, and you're seeking one of those things that we talked about, whether it's deeper relationship with Him, or or protection, or out of crisis, or for healing, or for a breakthrough, or whatever it is. And then He says when the Father sees what's done in secret, right, He will be blessed by that, and you too will be blessed. But if we choose to boast about our holiness during a fast, you're not going to receive a reward from the Father. Jesus says your reward is that temporal praise from man. And quite honestly, I gave up getting praise from man a long time ago, because here's the truth, man. People who love you will also hurt you, and that's because we're people, and sometimes intentionally and most of the times unintentionally. But we live in a world that is just riddled with offense. And so chances are that, if you're seeking the approval of a person because of your spiritual walk, you're probably going to become really, really disappointed. But seek the Lord in secret, and what is done in secret will be seen by God, and He will be a rewarder of that. So I pray that gives you. I pray that gives you a little bit of context for fasting. I know that that's a real basic explanation, and certainly you can go much deeper into the subject of fasting, and maybe we will. But I just think it's a great thing that the church is fasting for the unveiling of hearts and lives. I am fully anticipating that by Easter, we're going to see a great multitude of salvations. I'm not saying, hey, what's up, Andy Green? Good to see you, buddy. And Andy's a blast from the past. You guys want to see some great artwork from the great state of Oklahoma? Check out Andrew_G_ADD Image. He's a dear friend and a great artist. And so anyway, good to see you on, bud. But in any case, like guys, as we're going into this and we're about to round into our second week of the fast, be in prayer about the unveiling of hearts and minds, because we have people in our sphere that are walking off the precipice of life straight into the caverns of hell, and they don't know it, and they are deceived, and they're believing that they're okay, and many of them are sitting in our churches, and they think they're okay because society tells them that they're okay, and because Christians and even some pastors are patting them on the back and saying it's okay. Sin is not okay. Sin will destroy you, and so we need this unveiling, and it's the veiled heart is the biggest crisis in the world. It's bigger than this war. It's bigger than our political fallout. It's bigger than COVID. It's bigger than anything that you and I are facing right now. It is eternal in its consequence, and people have got to know that Jesus truly does love them, and that there is freedom, and that when you make the Spirit of God Lord of your life, that there is liberty, there is freedom. Your eyes are open, and this is why we're fasting, because the enemy understands the value of understanding. He understands the value of wisdom. That's why it says in Psalm that wisdom is more precious than rubies. It's more precious than gold or silver. You can gain the whole world and lose your soul. What does it profit you? Because if we understand the truth, then we'll know that Jesus is the truth, and the truth does what? It sets you free. The devil doesn't want you free. He wants you captive. He wants to kill, steal, and destroy your life. Jesus has come that you would have life, to have it more abundantly. And so we're praying for prodigals. We're praying for moms and dads and husbands and wives and co-workers and friends in the neighborhood, and school friends and people you've kept in touch with, and just praying for each one, that as we're getting ever closer to Easter, that you would have divine interactions, that your life would interact with them, and that they would that the veil would be lifted off of them, and they too would see Jesus, the giver of life. So that's my prayer for us as we move deeper into our fast. So God bless you guys. Listen, thank you for giving me the best part of your morning, and I don't take it for granted. It means a lot to me. So God bless you. And what is today? Today's Thursday. So this is it for this week. I will see you on Monday. All right. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.